Welcome to our Thursday night live stream.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos.
And if you're new to our channel, welcome. Here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos, and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics. And every Monday, we go live on Keto Beyond the Couch because life exists beyond the couch.
You can find us on different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and X.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way every single time it's the day after Christmas, you'll be alerted to it.
This was a weird Christmas. We didn't even do our day after Christmas, like shopping for everything.
This entire year has been strange. I mean, we're finishing
unplanned moving.
Unplanned. Everything has been things we can't control. Truly, it has been an out of control year. However, I am so thankful that we are keto and that I can control what goes in my mouth. Because in years past, I couldn't control that either.
So welcome to our Thursday live stream. If you're new here, our Thursday live streams are our chance to hang out with our community and answer questions about keto or carnivore or pretty much anything you want to ask within reason. If you have a question, type question and then the question in the chat box down below, or use the super chat function, which really does help out and benefit the channel. But more importantly, what it does is it highlights your screen, lets us know that you have a question. I do want to give a shout out to Marlissa, who on Monday, right at the end of the stream, did $100 donation.
Thank
so we
you,
really appreciate that very much, Marlissa. And also, if you want to support our channel, you can use the link down below and buy us a cup of coffee. Little housekeeping thing just to let you guys know now so I don't forget later, or for people who don't watch through the whole stream. Monday's Keto Beyond the Couch, as the air conditioner comes on, will be pre-recorded, but Rachel will be live in the chat. I am working a lacrosse tournament. It's like a New Year's lacrosse tournament. So I actually have to drive down to Fort Lauderdale to work that tournament. So it's like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So Rachel will be live in the chat, and then we're just going to pre-record Keto Beyond the Couch. I'm going to turn off the air conditioner.
I will be holding down the fort here in Arcadia on the farm, taking care of all of the chickie babies, the turkeys, and continuing to move forward on the house. Really looking forward to all of the projects getting done. I am like head to toe scratched and scraped and bruised, but we have been really making some headway on all the trees and things outside.
And I'm working on the inside. So our bathroom is finally completely finished sealing. Everything, sink is in. I've got one more coat for the joints on the sheetrock. So probably Saturday I'm going to spray texture. And from there, we can just wait on our kitchen cabinets and start doing floors and painting and stuff like that. We still have 2 rooms left, but I want to get our bedroom, our living room, the kitchen area done. And then we can move into the rest of the house.
What did you get for Christmas? Joe got a really fun gift.
I got a cowboy hat.
He got a cowboy hat. It was funny because I was talking to Michelle about it, and she was like, "He wanted a cowboy hat for Christmas." I'm like, "Yes," because basically both of us are 5 years old. So we like presents like that. And he wanted a cowboy hat. I'm actually saving all of my Christmas like money. All of my presents are getting concentrated into new furniture because we've only ever had like hand-me-down stuff.
Our bedroom furniture,
75 years old,
was furniture that my mother got from a nurse that worked with her.
Right.
And then that was handed to me when I was in college, which I then brought to my first marriage, which I then brought to this marriage. And I believe that furniture is, like 70 years old. So
it looks like pretty rough too.
It's solid wood. I mean, it could be refinished and stuff.
At some point,
I've had enough of it.
Like, I've had enough of it. Like, I appreciate antiques. Do not get me wrong.
It's not really an antique though.
It's just old.
Yeah.
Like, what is the fine line for you between antique and just old? Can you tell me? Because there is a difference between, like, let's say a classic car and just like an old car that you don't want anymore. Like, I mean, this was not like our furniture was not like a Shelby Corvette from the 60s. It wasn't that.
Matt said I should have gotten a hard hat to protect my head.
Yes.
It's not going to help me.
I need bubble wrap.
My thing is living in an RV, as you go out the front door, I hit my head all the time.
Also, number one most hated creature on earth is, for me, the red ant. Like, those suckers will sneak inside even your glove, and their last quest before dying is like, I'm gonna bite whatever skin that I can come in contact with before I die. Like, I am going to bite this person. And I always get one of those like really painful pimply things after an ant bite, and they know, they're like, hey, I'm gonna bite you right between your two fingers to like add insult to injury.
Okay, let's jump into the chat. Carrie has a question. Just wondering how I can get meats cheaper. People saying eggs and ground meat. That is not cheap where I live. I will be out of food, and then I will just be drinking water. I mean, ground beef is still going to be one of the cheapest meats you can buy. You're
talking about nutrient density. Like the most bang for
absolutely. I mean, I have not seen a place yet anywhere in the country, unless maybe you're in California, where you can't find ground beef for at least $5 a pound. A pound of ground beef is highly nutrient dense. So if you don't have a lot of money, Carrie, you need to be looking at where can you get your most bang for your buck, and that's going to be ground beef. I mean, ground beef is absolutely super cheap meat. You can even get cheaper if you want to get it into things like Salisbury steaks and stuff like that. But it doesn't have to be like the top quality ground beef. Go to Walmart, get the big chub of it. Look for the special meat stuff that's on clearance where, you have to eat it by tomorrow and freeze it or cook it. And then you have that for the week. Eggs are getting to be where it's more money than ground beef right now. But then, even things like hot dogs. Rachel goes to the store and buys hot dogs for $1.
$1 a package.
Is it the greatest thing in the world? No, but it's still better than eating bowls of cereal and oatmeal and Special K and all that other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's got some fillers in it, but like, I mean, that's a good place to start. For some reason, I thought that you had gotten some food assistance that went through the end of the year and that you were looking to re-up it on the other side of January.
Cans of tuna fish, cans of canned chicken. I mean, there are plenty of inexpensive. It may not be the best quality, but it's still meat.
Yeah, it's still stuff we've eaten.
Barbara said 3 lives in one day. I've hit the trifecta.
Thank you. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
John said day after Christmas shopping is a big note for me. Those 50% off candy sales.
Agreed.
Yeah, we used to do those all the time. But what we started doing just like razors, things like that.
We didn't even do that this year.
We didn't even do that. We don't have any place to put stuff.
Yeah. So that, it's funny how our goals have completely changed. So like, yes, number one, it used to be like, we're all holiday shopping, like day after Christmas shopping for all the candy, cookies, and snacks. It was like, if we find something else other than candies, cookies, and snacks, then like that's a bonus. But that was why I was going the day after Christmas. Like, tell the truth, shame the devil, right? That's what I was going for. Then, even when we went keto, it was all about like, okay, yeah, we need the, bath stuff and razors and things at like a discounted rate for the coming year. But now that we're just trying to keep our lives simple, more minimalistic, like smaller place, not a lot of storage. And so it's interesting how our goals have shifted so much from previous years.
So Gary, another question. What do you think of a fast with just water? Depends on what you're fasting for. I mean, are there some benefits to some fasting, doing like a 24, 48, 72 hour fast of water only? Yes. If you're trying to lose weight, it could really help with some autophagy. I'm not a big proponent of really long-term fast, longer than 72, maybe 96 hours. I definitely wouldn't do them very often. One thing about when you get into long-term fasting, there's not a lot of evidence and studies that show like
Longer
a
is
lot
better.
more benefits
Yeah.
from anything longer than the 72 hours. There is, there's the law of diminishing returns where you're going to get, you get a lot of benefits at that like 48, at 36 to 48, maybe 72 hour. Beyond that, the return that you get on that extended fast goes down and down and down. But even though you may get a little return, you're giving up a lot. And that is when you are fasting, your body does need fuel. So you can't just fast and tell your body, shut down, you don't need anything. Your body needs fuel. So when you're not eating, your body is going to burn off some of your fat, but it also needs glucose. And since you are not consuming any protein, it's got to get that glucose from somewhere, because as we talked about on Monday, your body needs glucose. It always needs glucose. At any given time, your body has the equivalent of 1 teaspoon of sugar floating around in your blood. So if you're not consuming any protein, then your body will cannibalize your muscle. And so when you are fasting, you will lose muscle. And honestly, I'm not willing to lose muscle, because once you hit the age of 50, you lose 1% of your muscle mass every single year. And that's even if you are eating the amount of protein and you are working on building muscle and stuff, you're going to lose muscle. And then to top it off, as you get older, your body cannot efficiently handle the protein the way it used to. And so now you need to consume more protein to make up for the fact that your body can't utilize it as efficiently. But then it's also harder to eat more protein as you get older. So for me, I would not really do anything more than a 72-hour fast, and maybe once a month, especially at the age of 50 or 54 for me. I wouldn't do it unless it was a religious thing, and that's like a once a year thing where, we may fast for like 21 days or something like that. But I don't generally do like a water only fast for 21 days. Let me turn on focus here real quick, because I'm tired of the beeping for 1 hour. Okay. Angie said, Carrie, you can eat bologna, tuna fish, Vienna sausages. Yeah, there are plenty of options out there.
My goodness. My little brother was a huge fan of Vienna sausages when we were growing up. Like, actually wanted to bring them everywhere. And like that gelatinous goo.
No, thank you.
Everywhere.
Jason, thank you very much for gifting a 2 Crazy Ketos membership to somebody. Sean's got a question. Any news on selling the house? Yes. And if you are a praying person, please pray for us.
Please keep praying.
So our house, we put up the little video thing, which I still want to know whose house that video was of, because it doesn't look like our house. But
it had dead grass.
It went up for sale. And the next morning we had pretty much a full price offer on the house. It was full price, but they wanted some money for closing costs, but I'll take that.
Amen.
So they had the inspection the other day. We have not heard the results of the inspection. I'm hoping that they're good. We know of issues with the house. We know it needs to be tented for termites. We've kind of made that clear, though. We're not really willing to do a lot of work. You got a good price on the house. We're giving you some money for closing. We're kind of like, there's not a lot left for us to play with you. But it is an FHA loan. Therefore, it must appraise for what they have offered on the house. So we need that appraisal to come in, and also that they don't come back with they want everything fixed that I'm not willing to fix.
Yeah.
So, if all goes well, we will.
January 27th.
Like January 27th, we close on the house, which is kind of freaking me out a little bit, because it's like we have stuff in that house and I have no place to put that stuff.
Right.
So like, I'm going to go home with my truck this weekend. I'll load up some boxes in the truck to bring up here. We're just going to have to make room in storage units. And after that, like, I don't know where we're going to put stuff, because I don't really want to get a storage facility. So that's making me go, you've got to get some of these rooms done so that like we can get our bedroom done. At least even if we don't have furniture, I can take the mattress and put the mattress in our bedroom, and things like that. But in the midst of all that, like, I stupidly agreed to do a lacrosse tournament, mostly because I miss lacrosse, and second, I need the money. But we have a cruise, which was planned long before ever buying a house, and we'd already paid for it and couldn't get refunded. So we have the Florida RV Super Show smack dab in the middle of all this. So yeah, we gotta get our nose down and get this house done. And we're ordering our kitchen cabinets, but you're trying to arrange the delivery of the cabinets with when we know we're gonna be home.
Yeah.
Because they get dropped off by a freight truck.
But here's the thing. This is step one, and I'm very encouraged. I'm really, really encouraged. This was the desire, right? Is to sell the house. And I'm just so thankful that like we've already got somebody that is interested in the house.
Amy's here saying,
Hi,
hey,
Amy.
everyone, I just got kicked in by Keto Simple. Yeah, he was just doing a live stream.
Hey.
Thanks, and that was way cool. Yeah, because you can set it where it can just push somebody to another live stream.
Wow, Dustin, thank you for that.
Dustin's really awesome. Love Dustin. Andy's here, just started a round of bone broth with beef ribs we ate for dinner tonight. So happy to use beef from the ribeyes.
How nice. And I'm telling you what, if you are doing triple BNE with us, I'm so thankful we're doing that right now. This is day one of triple BNE. Give a shout out, a cartwheel in the chat if you are joining us for that challenge. It's so awesome. But we were talking about this morning, what are some of the ways that I get through having less coffee during a triple BNE challenge? And one of them is utilizing bone broth as a hot beverage. Because, it's kind of like anything, you're not just drinking coffee because of the coffee, it's all of the other experiences. It's like when you said that like it's hard to kick smoking because you've got like
smoking
the nicotine,
is like the hardest habit to
you've
kick.
got this behavior, you've got like the social aspect of it. And I find that when I'm trying to dial back coffee, you're up against a lot of the same similar things, because it's not just the caffeine, but it's also like holding a hot mug. I drink coffee and like, chat and socialize. So bone broth for the win.
Dustin got a Dash 4 square mini chaffle maker.
Nice.
Just a lot of people putting in things that they got. Andrea got a creamy for Christmas. I'm now rewatching relevant videos to make keto chow ice cream. Even my non-keto husband is excited.
I'm going to tell you that so many times we have heard of someone who is like got a non-keto, like kids, spouse, what have you, and they absolutely love keto chow ice cream. Keto chow ice cream in the creamy is where it is at, yo.
Jason said we don't buy things for each other. It's all about the grandkids. It was kind of the same.
Same for us.
We went from always doing stuff for the kids. This year, Payton got a tractor. I bought Payton a tractor.
No regrets.
Of course, I got it like $100 off at Sam's Club, and I used my Sam's Club reward money. But she's value-wise, Payton got the best gift out of everybody.
She definitely did, and it's so hilarious to see her. I mean, she loves it, and it's so funny. So we'll stop because we're like running alongside, and she's all over the yard and everything. And when she stops for a second, she automatically goes, more? Like she wants more. And it's funny because that's kind of like a sign language that you use with babies for like food. Michelle's not even, she used a different sign for more. So it's weird. She's like, where did she even pick this up? Probably on like a TV show or something. But usually more is all about the food. And I think that is awesome that Payton is like more for experience.
Yeah. Lady Fritzer said Mana Furniture is so weak and pathetic unless you pay the big bucks.
True.
Which is why I never wanted to get rid of that furniture.
And we never did.
And just because you can't find anything in the stores that's well made. Even like I've seen furniture is like $5,000-$7,000 for a bedroom set, and it's still garbage with pressed MDF wood. I mean, and so it's kind of upsetting to get rid of that, but it is definitely time for a change. And I honestly do not have time to refinish it. And it needs more than just refinishing. I mean, the drawers were all like wood slides. It needs to be completely redone.
I have come to the point
time for new
in my life where I do not need to have like
it's not
legacy
nice enough.
furniture.
It's not nice enough to keep. Like, it was just old solid wood furniture, but it wasn't like intricately detailed.
Well, the one thing that I have learned for my children, and even like us, like me and my brother teasing my mom about stuff, is for the most part, with the exception of maybe like one item in the house, our kids are like, we don't have the same style as you anyway. Like, we want none of your stuff. Like, Sarah and Anthony have like a rocking chair and a like a side table from my mom, because they pulled something from her grandma's side too. So it's like they wanted something from both sides that like represented each family coming together, which I thought was like super beautiful. But basically, like, okay, we checked that box. So I don't think anything that we would pick out any of our kids would want.
Yeah. Bill said refinish the old furniture because new stuff is infused with fire retardants and poorly made. Yeah, we're gonna try to be frugal. I mean, I would love to get like some Amish furniture or something like that, because at least I know that's going to be better made. But we got a little while before we get into that. Sarah's here, said day one of beef, butter, bacon, egg was a success, but I have a lack of caffeine, headache, totally missed by daily Celsius.
I'm telling you, I mean, even like best case scenario, we try really hard before we start Triple B and E to like reduce the amount of caffeine that we're taking in daily. But I'm telling you, it sweeps the legs. It absolutely goes Cobra Kai on you when it's really like the challenge has begun and I can't have like all of the coffee I'm used to. And Joe can't have his sodas.
Yeah.
Like I mean, thank you for not just throwing me under the bus, but also like admitting that
I have a soda problem.
You have a soda issue.
Okay. So Carrie said, I can't afford it. I'll just have to starve. Carrie, there's plenty of deals out there, but I am going to ask you to not be so negative and put comments like that. I'm not trying to be mean or anything like that, but you know, we have to be uplifting and putting comments. Well, I'm just going to starve to death or something like that. There are plenty of foods that we can get for less than $3 and still be able to stay on a ketogenic
like I said,
lifestyle.
those dollar.
You know, people have been posting up where, you know, you can routinely get ground beef for $1.99, $2.99 because of the Flip app. So you just have to do a little bit of digging for it. But there are plenty of deals. Again, go to Aldi. Aldi puts stuff on clearance first thing in the morning. You can always find stuff. Amy said eggs are $4 Fox today. My chickens better straighten up and start popping them out. I keep saying, like, our Easter, we haven't had green eggs in over a month. I'm like, if they don't start producing, it's time to cook them. Costs too much money to feed chickens that don't produce.
I was trying to have a very like face-to-face conversation with our green egg layers to try to tell them, like, y'all, we're on a farm now. This guy is in like dispatch mode.
I'm not feeding them to not do anything.
And there's more chickens that like we can purchase, like, you know, at the small animal auction, you can get one for like $1.
At minimum,
so y'all need to start producing.
My thing is at minimum, okay, so we're getting 7 to 10 eggs a day. So I went out there this morning and Bessie was sitting on a pile. Now, Bessie is our oldest chicken. She's like
the oldest living chicken,
almost 5 years old, and she's still laying.
She is. I'm going to miss that baby.
So I saw her sitting on a clutch of eggs, and I'm like, ooh, is she getting broody? Which it's not the time of the year for me to get broody. At least if the green egg layers aren't going to lay, could they at least get broody and sit on the eggs so that we can get more chickens? Because I don't really want to buy. I really would prefer them to hatch the eggs, because then we don't have to worry about integration.
Yeah.
But if they don't, then I'm going to get an incubator and I'm going to hatch my own eggs. Because
just living their best
believe
life.
me, Larry and Jeffrey, they're busy at work. And so I'm pretty sure that all of those eggs at this point are fertile eggs.
Fertile.
Joanna said, I get canned smoked oysters and mussels. The oil is bad, but it is a treat for me.
My mom is so, like, it was funny. So my mom is closing on her home tomorrow up in Winter Haven near my brother. And so she was saying that she's like, I'm like, are you excited about moving in and all this kind of stuff? And my brother, she's staying with them, but she is looking forward to, as she says, like some of her stinky food, because she knows that, like, my brother is like you. He's not a big fan of tuna. He's not a big fan of sardines, that sort of thing. My mom loves that stuff. But she's like, you know what? You don't want to be that house guest that's like popping open tuna fish and sardines when you're a guest at somebody else's house that doesn't really like that. So she was like, I am looking forward to going to the grocery store tomorrow and getting some of my stinky fish.
Jamie said, how do you get the smell of bacon out of your kitchen after you cook it? So, funny story, pre-keto, I banned cooking of bacon in our house.
In the morning, because it woke you up.
It would wake me up. And like John would always, as we made him start going outside. Honestly, the only way you're going to get the smell of cooked bacon out of your house is to vent very well while you're cooking it, or cook it outside.
Yeah, cooking it like that. We've had good luck even in the RV.
Cooking in an oven helps too, because you don't get as much grease splatter.
The air fryer helps for me also, because it's like we put it in the tasty air fryer and that just kind of caps it. But I do turn the vent on, or the fan.
And we don't have a very good fan.
Right.
Dustin said Gordon Food Service currently has ground beef for $2.79 a pound.
We used to have a Gordon Food Service, like you couldn't swing a cat without hitting a Gordon Food Service. And now it's like they've closed a lot of them in the Florida area. I need to look for some more, because that was a great resource for us. Also, like GFS will slice food for you there.
Yeah.
So like if you can get that big, like let's say you want to have like turkey lunch meat, ham, or roast beef or whatever like that, but you know, they're going to sell it to you in this big like log. If you don't have a meat slicer, you can ask them to slice it. Like, hey, I want to buy this big thing. Will you slice it? And they can slice it for you.
Matt said, question for the 2KK cruise. Do we pay one deposit for both cruises, or a deposit for each one? So it's technically it's two separate cruises. It's a $200 deposit on each cruise. The deposits are fully refundable up until I think June. And then after that, you could lose your deposit unless I get them to finagle things up until final payment date. And after final payment date, it goes by like, however many days till sailing and stuff like that. But yes, if you're going on both legs, you need to do a deposit in each one. You have to fill out each form because they have to be separate. Some people may wonder, like, how come I haven't processed it? We had a little thing. So we have Royal Caribbean holding a whole block of actual cabins for us. And there was a little problem on the second leg, because when we had to get rid of the 4Ds, something got screwed up and it wouldn't allow me to hold as many as they're supposed to be holding. So they asked me to not book anything on the second leg until they fix that, which is supposed to be tomorrow, because we have at this point 19 ocean view balconies left, where I have the same cabin for the first and the second. Actually, I only have 19 ocean view balconies left at all. And then we have some ocean views and some interiors. But the only way to stay in the same cabin from one to the other is with ocean view balconies.
I'm really getting excited. It's a year away. It's a year away, but there's a lot of people going on this cruise. Yep. I'm super excited.
Becky said, my shopping is simple now. Eggs, butter, and whatever keto bacon is on sale, I stock up.
Isn't that nice? Like, it's actually really refreshing, because I went into town because I could not find safety goggles. I know we have a million pairs around here, but they were all hiding from me, and I needed to do some weed eating. And so I went to Harbor Freight, and it's next to Publix. So I was just looking for some ground beef, and I was like, well, is there anything else I need? And it was like, no. Thank goodness for Triple B and E, makes everything like way freaking easier.
Exposing Darkness said, I work at a Catholic church. They have a very active food pantry. It's open to everyone in a certain area. If anyone needs assistance, I suggest contacting your local church. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Carrie, I know you're very involved in your church. Yeah. I know even our church, when we lived down in Coconut Creek, they never gave money. If somebody were to come in and say, I need assistance, they would give them a card, or they would take them shopping, but they never handed out cash, and which is a good way to do it. But they would, most local churches will help you out if you. We have a food pantry
I need to get involved with here in Arcadia, because I thought that'd be really cool.
Paul said, Facebook memories came up today, reminding me how I used to hit Hickory Farms the day after Christmas for 6% off. Those were the days.
I can remember when like summer sausage and like the cheese that came in like the Hickory Farms was like, that was the bar of like cheese and sausage. Since I'm going to tell you right now, like the Payton sausage, like the Payton sausage that they have in hot dogs, like it kicks the summer sausage from Hickory Farms butt. Like, it just absolutely kicks the butt. But like, that was what I knew was fancy cheese and sausage back then.
Sandra said, glad I caught you live. I have been watching and listening to you guys on your beef butter bacon egg videos from
Yay.
2021 and 2023.
And meat is still meat, right? I love the fact that although, like, I mean, hey, spoiler alert, we were nerdy then and we're nerdy now, but the fact of the matter is, like, how we prepare meat and like what you can do to cook meat and all the different cuts of meat that we ate, like, that lives forever. I love that. That never changes.
Jeannie's Journey bought herself an RV for Christmas.
Wow.
She's picking it up in a week or two.
How exciting. What did you get, girl?
Let us know what you got.
Yeah.
So couple things when you go to pick it up. Okay. I don't know if you bought a new one or a used one or anything like that. You need to go through it with a fine tooth comb. If you want, send me an email. I'll tell you some things to look for. If you didn't have an inspector look at it. But especially if you bought new. Once you drive it off the lot, it's very difficult to get things repaired, even if it's got a warranty. RV dealers, people will complain about RVs. You got to understand the way RVs work. So almost all the RVs in the United States are built up in Indiana. They are driven on the road to wherever you're buying it from. So we're in Florida. That means somebody literally hooks it up to their truck, and it's not like a car where it comes in on a big transport. It's driven by somebody over horrible terrain roads. You're driving basically a box that is screwed and stapled together. It's like driving through an earthquake and a tornado all at the same time.
Right.
Things come loose sometimes. And what happens is you've got a warranty to handle those things, but the dealerships, once they sell it to you, they don't really want to fix it.
Right.
So you'll bring it in and they'll try to hold it for 4 or 5 months. So you want to go through it with a fine tooth comb and do not sign paperwork until everything is fixed.
Don't receive
They're
it.
going to try to tell you things like, oh, we'll fix it tomorrow. Nope, I'm not signing until it is fixed. Because like anything else, like we're all friends until we're not. And they're going to be your best friend until you sign that paper. And then they're going to be like, sucks to be you.
Yeah.
So just like, if you wanted to know things to look for, if you send me an email, I'll be happy to give you a list of things to look at. Also, Chris Miller, who is in our group, hit her up on Facebook. In our Mighty Networks group. She's an RV tech. She can tell you things to look for.
Have a look out for. And you also can get an RV tech to come and do that walkthrough process with you when you're picking it up. Like find a local RV tech representative.
John said, I'm not a fan of Vienna sausages. I prefer Little Smokies.
Oh, I love them. Those are delicious.
Kathy said, I've been trying to sell our Texas house since June. Not one
Oh my
offer.
goodness. I'm sorry.
Jeannie said, I finished a 6-day water fast last week and felt great the entire time, but I wouldn't do that more than once or twice a year.
And the thing is, especially like, so let's say you're doing it for a reset, or you're doing it because you're like, gosh, I just want to like have kind of like a evacuation, hopefully like lose some water weight, that kind of thing. The problem is, as soon as you eat, we're back, right? So I think it's really important that we don't like try to use fasting as a way to be like, gosh, I want to have like some amazing results very quickly, because we will eat again, right? And if we don't deal with some stuff, like all of the things come back, right?
Becky said we can store stuff at her house.
Thank you.
People talk about selling their house. Lots of cartwheels from your question. Matt said, my Christmas gift was my new bamboo 3D printer. I've been using it every day since I got it. Best present ever.
That is awesome.
Sherry said, hello. Hi. All my Christmas surprise was a grounding mat. I've been grounding all afternoon.
Nice. What a great gift.
Evelyn Carl got her a pro membership to Dr. Barry's PhD community. Kids got me 4-piece round dash waffle chocolate.
Wow.
Awesome.
You got some great family.
Let's see. Easy peasy keto. For our Christmas, we did the 2KK cruise and bought a reverse osmosis water filter to clean up our local drinking water.
Nice. Stacy, how was it like getting to see your family? I know like after the cruise, you were going to go get to see some family who was going to be just amazingly in town in Orlando. I hope that was awesome.
Okay. So Lolo's got a good question.
Hey, Lolo.
I got a call about my blood work. My cholesterol is 258. Doctor's appointment for tomorrow. What should I say to the doctor about it not being a bad thing? 60 plus female. So there's a few ways you can go at it depending on how receptive your doctor is.
Sure.
What I would start off with, and you have to be polite and nice and kind, because
I'm glad you're saying that. They worry me sometimes.
Well, it depends on how they come back at me.
Okay.
But the thing is just understand that doctors are under a lot of pressure from insurance companies of X amount of patients have to be on statins or they don't pay. I mean, it's
crazy.
It's really ridiculous how big pharma, and the insurance companies really determine everything, which is why my mother always begged me, do not become a doctor when I was going to go to medical school, because she was like, you're not a doctor anymore. You get, the insurance companies tell you how long you can be with a patient, what drugs to put a patient on, everything. So depending on how receptive, I would start off with, if they start on it, I would kind of come back to them. Can you please tell me, where are my triglycerides?
There you go.
Where is my HDL? What is my fasting insulin? Like, look at the other numbers.
Stuff.
And then I would also go with him and say, if he's super concerned, are you willing, depending on what blood tests they've done, are you willing to do an NMR profile so that we can find out what type of LDL? Is it big fluffy? Is it small sticky? Because those are all things that matter. Most doctors don't ever order that stuff. If he's insistent on the statin, I would say, okay, I would ask him, what is the percentage? Now, I can tell you the answer to this, but you want to get him to explain it to you. How much of a risk does that statin reduce my risk of heart disease? Because the actual, in the medication pamphlets that come with the drug itself, it's less than a 1% reduction in heart disease, and only in men, because it's never been studied on women. So is that worth it for all of the side effects? Ask them, what are the side effects? And then what I would do is say, could you do me a favor? Give me a little bit of time. Can we look? Can we order a CAC scan?
See what's going on in my arteries.
And see what's going on there. And then say, would you consider taking a look at and refer them to some of the stuff from Dave Feldman, or maybe Dr. Berry's videos or Dr. Boz's videos on cholesterol, and ask him if he would be receptive to looking further into why your LDL or your total cholesterol may not be such a bad thing. More and more doctors now are starting to recognize, and I saw this not even on like a keto channel. This was actually on a news channel, where more and more doctors are starting to recognize it's not a cholesterol thing. It's not even an LDL thing, where they're starting to look at triglycerides, HDL to triglyceride ratios, because those are the things that are most important.
Is that exciting?
Triglycerides is the fat that's just floating around in your bloodstream. That's why you want them so low. The number one way to lower your triglycerides is by not eating sugar. So, like, if you can get those numbers down, a good triglyceride is considered under 150, which to me isn't a very good triglyceride, but under 150 is considered good. So if you've got triglycerides under 100,
whoa,
even though you have higher total cholesterol, that's to me a good thing. But remember, we're not doctors or nurses. Joanna said, my parents' tables are smaller and different from the tables today. One's called the cobbler's bench. Another is a dough box. I've never seen ones like that.
How interesting.
Let's see. Joanna said, I've been eating too many keto products lately. I've got to clean it up for the first.
And that was definitely like what we were thinking about when it came to like having triple B and E start December 26th. And I want you to know right now, whether you are joining us for triple B and E or not, here is your permission slip not to have to be responsible for cleaning up all of the leftovers. You do not need to eat all of the leftovers from the holiday gathering. And hear me out. If when you provided the holiday meal, you were completely fine if it was all consumed that day. That was the plan, right? That you had made sure that you had enough to feed everybody on December 25th. It's December 26th. Like, it is over. So if it didn't get eaten,
throw it out.
just throw it out. Like,
Yeah.
that's fine. Or you can pack things up and give it to your neighbors. There were some people when we were in the Triple B and E live stream talking about how they were packaging up stuff and freezing some things because, desserts freeze, casseroles freeze. You could eat it, in a more staggered state, not feel like it's, hungry hippos and we have to like collect it all and eat it all right now because of the lifespan of the food. But you can package it up, give it to neighbors, like bless somebody with a meal, but you are not responsible to clean up all of the holiday food.
Kathy said, I had a neighbor I've never met come to my door last week and offer me free eggs.
Wow.
All he asked for was to give him back the box.
How
That's
nice.
Awesome.
That's a good neighbor.
Sherry said, Joe, y'all hot chicken slackers. They're traumatized from the move. Maybe Bessie is showing them how it's done. They were giving green eggs and they've just stopped. And it's been, I'd say closer to 6 weeks. And Bessie wasn't, like I said, I was hoping that maybe she's getting older. If you're willing to sit on the eggs and
you can just do that.
You can do that. But no, she was laying.
Oh, Bessie is.
She was laying.
She is Wonder Woman. She's Wonder Chicken. And she's like the friendliest.
And she's a golden comet or a red star, and they're only supposed to lay for 2 to 3 years, and we're going on 5 years.
She is hilarious. She
jumped on Payton's shoulder the other day.
And Payton was kind of cool with it because
at first she freaked out a little bit because Payton was feeding her scrambled eggs
but Bessie's like, can we get closer?
Yeah.
And that's kind of hard for a 2-year-old because, Bessie's tinier than some of our other chickens, but she's still pretty big on a toddler body. And, but yeah, then she just kind of sits there. She's a lap chicken.
Joanna said, I saw a video on a guy saw a chicken fall out of a truck. He stopped, took her home, healed her, and introduced her to the clan. Now she's a happy chicken.
Oh my gosh. How
I'm
precious.
on the hunt for more turkeys because we've now lost 2 turkeys. We lost our one turkey while we were on the cruise. And then we lost another one who I honestly was always sick. She always had a weird cough. And then when our temperatures dropped into the 30s the other day,
could not recover.
I think she just couldn't recover from it. And I tried giving her some antibiotics that I had been given by somebody else. Unfortunately, you can't even get antibiotics without a vet prescription anymore. And so we did the best we can, and she finally just passed away. So now we only have 3 hens. I have 2 toms and 3 hens. So I'm on the hunt for some more hens because 2 toms to 3 hens is going to be a major problem in a couple months.
Right.
Like you need at least 2 more hens, but you also trying to buy them at an auction, and I don't want another tom. So.
Right.
Oh, I read that one. Debbie said, our chickens seem to go in and out of laying. Our dark chickens just started laying again. I was ready to give up on them.
So we're going to, we're going to believe the best. They
have a month.
It has been some wild weather. Yeah. Like, I feel like we moved to the desert. It's now, freezing cold at night, and then it's hot during the day.
Have you seen the new eggs coming in?
They're tiny.
Let me show these.
They're like little baby ones. Because, one thing, I think we have a couple of young hens.
Oh, you put them away?
I put them away.
Are they in here?
There's some in there. Compared to some of the OGs.
So because remember we got at auction, we got 5 chickens. 5 it was 5 but 1 rooster, so we gave the rooster away.
So you have to show the comparison.
So this is one of our normal eggs.
Which got some poop on it.
Poop on them, fresh eggs. And this is one of the new baby eggs.
I know, they're so
because
tiny.
When they first start laying, they're
You're
so
not great
small.
at it.
But yeah, and we have 2 white eggs.
Yeah,
now.
This is our first, we've never had a cream leg bar.
The other day we had an egg that was like twice the size of I was sure it was a double yolk egg, but it wasn't.
It wasn't. I was like, did an ostrich come in here, lay an egg?
Sandra said, Joe and Rachel, what do you think about journaling as you start beef, butter, bacon, and eggs?
Yes, I am very much pro for that. In the Triple B and E challenge course, you'll see that a couple of days, I want to say it was last week, I actually put up a post, and then there's the PDF for the worksheet is in the comments that is basically also tracking emotions, because there'll be people that will start Triple B and E and the lack of caffeine has them in major withdrawals. They're kind of angry, feeling upset because, again, if let's say snacking at night is kind of like your decompression from the workday, all of a sudden snacking is gone.
Right.
So your coping mechanism is also gone along with it. And so I want to make sure that we're tracking our feelings, tracking our response to things, because you don't just want to be like, okay, it must be that I have a beef aversion, or it must be that I just can't tolerate eggs. No, probably like your feelings are not just connected to like the food itself, but like your interaction. So it's important that you're seeing, okay, well, where are my feelings about this? What's the root of this? If I'm feeling angry and like just low grade ticked off and there's no reason for it, what is it? I can say, all right, well, maybe I'm bored by my food, like, because we can only eat beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Well, then I want to have a conversation and be like, why is my sole source of happiness and joy
Right.
variety of food? Like that, I don't want that to be the case.
Debbie and a bunch of people want to know what my shirt says. It says,
if at first you don't succeed, try doing what Joe told you to do the first time. I think he just wears that to aggravate me.
I love this shirt. Easy peasy Peter, thank you very much for the $20 super chat. And family's excited about how healthy and young I am getting.
Yay! That is awesome.
Becky wants to know, do you like coffee and keto chow apple pie flavor? Do I like apple pie flavor
in
my coffee? Yes. Speaking of which, if
they're
you
having
didn't know,
end of the year deal.
So Keto Chow, which I don't think I've ever seen Keto Chow have a New Year's sale before.
No.
From now, December 26th until January 6th, they were doing 20% off select flavors. It is not all the flavors. So use our link down below, but it's only off of select flavors. But apple pie is one of them. I know lemon meringue. I don't remember them all. I also know that Mondo Melon.
Yep.
And
Citrus Splash.
the Citrus Splash, those both are also 20% off. Reminder, Citrus Splash, when it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
So if you like the Citrus Splash, I would go load up, especially at 20% off. Just use our link down below.
Also, like if you like the recipe cards and the recipe box, because they're not going to be continuing that even with the My Chow box. So the recipe cards, and that's showing you there's so many amazing recipes so that you can use Keto Chow not just as a drink, but there's so many ways that you can use Keto Chow. Grab those recipe cards while they're 20% off before they're gone.
Oh, perfect. So Jeannie said, one of the gifts I got was Dr. Elizabeth Bright's book on menopause and fat. Looking forward to learning more about her approach.
How cool.
And Jeannie's journey said she got a 2021 Integra Odyssey 26. Oh, that's a nice.
Nice.
She had it inspected.
Perfect.
Good job. And the inspector said he rarely sees one in that good a condition.
That is such a win. That's awesome.
I'm glad you got an inspector. So many people
just
don't. They skip that, and it's so important to get an inspection.
It's because and
that's why I'm doing the inspection course.
So my mom is buying a new house. And so I said, I want you to get an inspection on this new construction house. The reason why is because, I don't know if you know this story, but my father, who died of a heart attack, he died the day before they were moving into a new house. Just that was the last straw of like stress, was getting into that new house. So my mom had decided, I'm not moving into that house ever, like the one that they intended to. So they sold the house that they were going to move into. She stayed in the house that they were in for quite some time. So her realtor, though, had purchased a home in this new development, really nice neighborhood, like brand new development, but the development had cut corners. And basically they had a master electrician on the campus overseeing the great big project, but were hiring like day people who were not expert electricians to actually do the electrical work. And he woke up to the middle of like a fire on his brand new house, and praise God, they were able to get out alive and survive this fire. But it was a terrible situation. So brand new house does not mean that you shouldn't like have it inspected. And so of course the people, when she went to him and said, okay, my kids want me to have an inspection, they were like, well, we'll certify our work. And it's like, I'm sorry, but you are not grading your own paper.
We're all friends till we're not.
We're all friends until we're not. And so yes, you've got like, you know, the price of the house, and she was going to have to pay like another $500 in order for you to have that inspection. But like that last $500 purchase may be the best purchase. And they actually found out that like there was an error with the washer and dryer. Like there was some stuff that was like jacked up and needed to be fixed. And so now they had a punch list to do before she closes on the house tomorrow. So I'm really proud of you for like just being really proactive about that and not saying like, hey, I'm going to, you know, I've spent all this money on an RV. I'm not going to pay that last amount for an inspector.
Heather, thank you very much for the $19.99 super chat.
Hey, gorgeous.
Merry Christmas from the gifts.
Merry Christmas. Actually, today is tomorrow is y'all's Christmas? I know that because Phil was normally serving in the armed forces and was rarely able to actually make it home for so many years on December 25th. They just got used to celebrating Christmas at a later date. And honestly, moving forward, it's probably brilliant because you still have some last minute time to get like a deep discount, right? On Christmas gifts.
Juliana said, I wouldn't call anyone in January, February, but that's just me. Our days are getting longer. They will get better. Yep. We're past the midway point. Days are going to be longer. Angela's here said hello from San Diego. I had a lovely Thanksgiving with the 3 grandchildren. Christmas was quiet. American Wagyu, New York.
Yum.
Stretch.
That sounds like a delicious Christmas meal.
I saw another one. Matt said, I miss having fresh eggs, and don't wash them until you're ready to use them. If you're going to wash them out. Yeah, I don't generally wash the eggs unless they're just really, really bad. But we moved the chicken coop around, and
that helps.
Well, now somebody's sleeping in the nesting box, so that's why there's poop on them.
We got special chickens. Special animals.
Special. Let's see. Debbie had a warm eggnog keto chow tonight when I got home from my son's house.
Let me tell you, Debbie, like we totally enjoyed thoroughly the cheese that you sent us for Christmas, but we're done with it. Like we've put it away now. At the stroke of midnight last night, we cheesed it up last night. Like December 25th was cheese day in this house. Thank you.
I did not open. Well, I opened one, but I didn't open any of the other packages of cheese from Debbie because, like,
you're just going to go down the rabbit hole.
Well, because so long as they're sealed like that, they're good.
Yeah.
But once you open it up, so I'm like, I'm saving them.
Don't touch it.
I'm not sharing them. I'm just saving them.
We will see you in 30 days.
Evelyn said I added anise to a vanilla core keto chow today for breakfast. Fat was half a cup, half butter, half cream cheese. Tasted like black licorice cheesecake. Yeah,
wow.
Vanilla keto chow or the vanilla cream cheese, it's so versatile because you can pretty much add any flavoring to it and it'll taste amazing. Margaret said, so I shared this Grinch tube off of Hershey's Kisses with the grandkids. Maybe it isn't keto, but not having the whole tube, I'm good because I didn't have the whole thing.
Good job. That's a huge success.
Bubble said, I wonder if you add anise to raspberry cheesecake, would it taste like a legendary red licorice? No, because anise is black licorice flavor.
Yeah, happy second night of Hanukkah to everybody celebrating. It was interesting how like Christmas and the first day of Hanukkah lined up this year.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool.
Carnivore Werewolf, hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas. Best wishes and thoughts for the new year. I'm excited.
Yes.
So it was a weird Christmas. It was kind of funny because Caleb called late last night and said, how was your Christmas? And Rachel, I think just in a bliss of tiredness goes, it sucked. My kids weren't here. It
First time. I mean, I knew this would eventually happen.
It was lonely. I mean, we knew it was coming, but it was just
sad.
It was different. You know, we're used to family being around and our kids being around. And now that we have 3 adult children and they're all
different
doing
directions.
their own thing, it was very odd. I know we will get used to it. Maybe next year things will be different when we actually have a house for everybody to come to. But, you know, when we're living 2 hours and 45 minutes away from Anthony and Caleb, and we're 2 hours away from John Paul, and they all have other families, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So Caleb went with his dad for something. Anthony has got Sarah, his wife. They got to go to her grandparents' house at some point. So, you know, in the past, it was come with us for a few hours and then go over there for a few hours, but you're only 20 minutes away.
Not
but
as easy to do that.
It wouldn't be that easy for them to come up here for 3 hours and then, 3-hour drive up here, hang out for a couple hours, and then 3-hour drive. I mean, nobody wants to drive 6 hours for Christmas.
I got more than 12 miles of steps in yesterday. If that tells you where my head was.
Yeah, we just decided to pull out the chainsaw.
Yes.
And I think we gained an extra acre on our house, and we're not even done.
But you know what? Like in the past, I totally would have eaten my feelings. And now I feel like we did something productive with those emotions.
Kat said, I'm an empty nester here. Christmas is definitely not as fun. Tell me it gets better.
Yeah. It gets better, right?
It gets better, right? But it's funny because this is why the Two Crazy Ketos channel exists.
Yes,
I always
community.
joke about it in that, we literally came home from church one day realizing we were going to be empty nesters
It's coming.
soon. And we have never dated each other without children because we are a blended family. And so I just came up with this idea, let's start a YouTube channel. That's literally what it came from. So I think if it wasn't for our community and our channel and the fact that we did just get off a cruise with 64 people, that really
I got Christmas.
helped.
I really did. I was able to have Christmas, enjoy Christmas, and come into the season very optimistic, despite the fact that I knew Christmas was going to be weird this year. So thank you guys.
Jennifer said next year have your family Christmas a week early and enjoy a full weekend.
Yeah.
Family. That's a good idea.
Because
that's what we did for Thanksgiving. And to me, it's not the day. It's just a family thing. So we were blessed that we had Payton from Friday until Tuesday. And then we went
Christmas Eve dinner with them.
And John Paul made an amazing brisket. And Michelle made this really good Brussels sprout with bacon. And she goes, the key is I put an entire stick of butter in it. And we're like, well, of course.
Yeah,
right? That's delicious.
Per serving, right?
And so that was really, we got to see their new warehouse. And so, we did have that. And I think Anthony and Sarah are coming up on Saturday. So at least we'll get to see them for a couple of hours.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Paul said, same with my brother. Up until Thanksgiving, I hadn't seen him since last Christmas, and my sister and I have spoken to in years.
Wow. I'm glad that you got to connect. And I'm thankful Joe's mom is back home from the hospital again. So that's a huge
Her blood
blessing.
pressure keeps going up and down. They don't know exactly what's going on, but she went and saw her old cardiologist. He's going to tweak her medication. But unfortunately, back to the medical, horrible care in the hospital because it's just like a rotating thing of doctors. She was there for 3 days and she ended up with 12 different doctors because they just keep changing and then the one doesn't talk to the other. It's really upsetting to see where the medical care is. And she's like, I just don't want to go back to the hospital. So please keep her in prayers because her blood pressure just keeps going up and down and nobody knows why. Joanna said my daughter lives 5 hours away.
Oh,
I only saw her twice this year. It's tough getting used to it. She's an only child.
That is tough. You know what? I am so thankful, for all of the empty nesters out there like us. I'm so thankful that even in this, we don't have to do this alone. We do not have to go into this season of life by ourselves. We have each other to go through these hard times. I think about when I was a young mother, when I was going through a divorce, I felt very much alone, totally alone. And it made hard times so much harder. So I'm really thankful that whatever we're going through, we don't have to go through it alone anymore. We do this as the 2KK family. Yeah. And I'm really, really grateful for it.
Laquetta said, as a widow, never granted children, sometimes reminded me that I have lots who love me, but I don't belong to others.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I think that was it. Yeah, Sabrina said it's hard to share once the kids are gone, but it does get better.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And again, we have people to reach out to. I know Sarah G was having a tough, Christmas too. So like tomorrow we're like, we've got to clean the bathroom. Like we're working on it. She was like, I just want some like functional fitness stress relief. Can we just get together? And I'm like, I had like basically like a Viking funeral pyre yesterday of like,
oh my gosh,
of logs.
Rachel was out pulling stuff out and I was working in the house, and then I felt bad because like I look out the window and she's hauling sticks one at a time from literally one side of the property to the other. So I'm like, let me get the chainsaw and at least cut down a bunch of stuff for her to, be able to put on the pile. Because once you get the pile burning, you want to keep it going. And me and a chainsaw, not a good idea, because like I'm just not stopping. And the next thing you know, we literally, that if you've seen the videos where like in the back there's like these hidden dog kennels, they're no longer hidden.
They're out.
Like and one of them is in front of two pens, which I told Rachel like we want to take down the kennel thing, but there's two big pens out there which would be perfect for like pigs because they're way in the back of the property. Fenced. They're all fenced in. Like there's literally probably 2 acres that are just so overgrown.
Yeah.
And so we just, spend a couple of hours with that, and then you just grab the tractor because I have the grapples on the tractor and pick it up, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe. And it's just, so we went until like 7 o'clock at night until it literally got dark anymore. And I think the fire at one point was like 15 feet high.
It was like I've been watching Star Wars recently as like my holiday movie du jour, and I was like, dude, like we got this fire like higher than Vader's.
Well, all that lumber funeral that I found. So I went out this morning, and you were doing a live, and I had to go to Home Depot at 6 o'clock. But when I went out there, the ash pile was up to my shoulders. Just the ashes. It was just this giant mound of ashes, and that was up to my shoulders.
It's crazy.
Marianne said, I call those drive-by doctor visits. I was in a hospital 42 days a few years ago, and there were very few repeat doctors.
It's very frustrating because, she was saying that, and like Terry was saying, like there'd be the, next day, couple of hours later, new shift. And they're like, so tell me why you're in here. And it's like, what do you mean tell me why I'm in here? Like, is there no communication going on? Like, I've had to explain my situation 12 times to come to the conclusion of like, I don't know what's going on.
This is a good one to end it on because it really sums everything up. Evelyn said, I'm so blessed by this community and family. I lost my dad 4 years ago on Christmas morning. It hit me hard this year, and you helped me without even knowing it.
Wow. Gosh,
that's
Evelyn.
What this channel is all about.
Thank you, because you guys together, like, this is such a precious thing that like we help each other during these seasons. And I love you, Evelyn. I'm glad that you're here, and I'm sorry for the loss of your father. And I definitely, as somebody who's lost a parent as well, it's like it never goes away. You just find that you're coping with it at different ages, like different seasons of life, like watching, the kids graduate from high school and just missing my dad even in that, and being like, well, this is me going through this season of life without him. So it is the grieving like continues through life. And I'm so glad that we're not alone in this, Evelyn, that like we're here for one another. So there's no timetable of processing.
Okay, we are going to get off, guys. Thank you everybody for joining us. Again, remember on Monday, Keto Be on the Couch will be pre-recorded, but Rachel will be live in the chat. So we appreciate everybody for joining us and supporting us. Again, if you want to support us further, consider using the link down below and buying us a cup of coffee. Have a good night, everybody.
We love you.
Bye.